fans, but as we start gearing up for this first matchup for Gen G and DXA, are we going to see either one of those heroes brought out?
We're not sure if Mantis is going to be as contested as often, because we did get a little bit of that Scrimbucks information that maybe Mantis won't be as contested as much, but who knows? We're in the ban draft already. Both sides already taken away the gambit. Now that first save coming in, all eyes were on this, and DXA will in fact secure the Devil Dinosaur.
It's just the best way to play it right now. Interesting going for a Luna Snowban, and Luna's another hero that I kind of wanted to talk about because I feel like the way that she has been traditionally played has changed, and she's a very, very strong hero, but unfortunately one that we will not be seeing for the side of DXA, as Gen G are going to secure that one. And the Black Cat ban, which I think if the Scrimbucks exchange shows what I think it's showing, that does kind of lean Gen G towards that divey style of the Devil Dino comp, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as the ban draft progresses.
Yep, I mean, Devil Dinosaur even enabling rush for both sides, especially with the Rampage being online, means that they can just run right in. Mantis can even help amplify that rushdown potential, and that's the reason why both teams are going to take away the bans, because keep in mind, here in Season 8.0, Mantis now has that movement speed buff tied to the damage boost. Although the damage boost did go down a little bit, that movement speed is still just as threatening.
And a damage boost is still a damage boost. Like, you're never going to not want a damage boost. We're going to see the Luna Snowban now coming out from DXA, so neither side is going to get to see the pop star. So I don't get to talk about what makes her special in this meta, but we are going to see a White Fox Protect potentially coming out here from DXA, so maybe they want to play something a little similar. It's going to be difficult to get the most out of that White Fox without that Luna Snow team up, but as the Phoenix ban comes through, that is going to seal the deal for this pick in ban draft.
Yeah, now we're gonna see what Pars decides to go for. He's thinking about the Star-Lord, which, if you all know, we got an extra 10 bullets in his magazine, so he's still gonna be so strong. Maybe go towards the Punisher with the Devil Dino team up. Maybe, we have yet to see, but the White Fox save still is gonna be interesting, especially when you know that you're not gonna have access to that team up with the Luna Snow. Both sides won't even have access to it. But still, I think there might be something that's going to be cooked up on that side.
There's got to be. I mean, like, White Fox is another one of those heroes that lends herself really well to a triple strategist backline. So, I mean, even without the Luna Snow, you can still kind of make it work. And I guess without the Mantis there, that might still be your next best option. So maybe that's what DXA are trying to hang their hat on. But we'll have to see as we're kicking things off. And it's going to be Cradle. No, it's going to be Carousel, the first map, which might lend itself a little bit more towards DXA's favor if they play their cards right here.
Yeah, we'll see what Gen G have been cooking up in the background right after preseason, because right now they're willing to roll out on something very aggressive. Duep on the Captain America, FMCL on Daredevil, Salvation even there to help things out with the Soul Bond to try to rush things, and we've seen them play so well in cohesion together. Salvation goes 3-2-1, Soul Bond, and then everyone goes right in, but Tashi is able to catch out that Captain America.
Well, it is the first fight, the first blood of the OCE region and of the Ignite so the Ignite Stage 1, and Pars goes back-to-back with 2 easy KOs there. Has Skittles in his sights trying to find that third, but Skittles will live, and Salvation will find his namesake in a cocoon form. A good res, but DXA are going to get the first cap here, and with all this damage coming out from this Punisher, it's going to be real difficult for Gen G to get another good look at this one. And you can see Duep trying to go around the side and look for an angle on a backliner, try and draw a little bit of aggro if he can. Bobo going to take down Gak, and without that Dino there, now a lot more punishment going to be dished out. FMCL has found access to the backline, and alongside Duep, they are going to be dishing out a hurtin'. 1 and 2. Pars is done. Neb going to be next to fall, and Tashi, oh, you better run, my friend.
Okay. DXA win out in that first engagement. Great double coming in from Pars, but that only exhausts the BRB of Skittles and Salvation's Cocoon. So everyone on Gen G are still 6-man strong coming into that next engagement. And Gen G were able to rush them down perfectly, making sure that Fix on the Loki does not have access to the region domain, and that was when Gen G struck. That was when the backline of DXA just fell right apart, and now DXA are losing space, but they're going to try to bring it right back with some shotgun shots from Pars, as Bobo has to use the Song Inferno, try to get the health reset. but was not able to find the eliminations. Rexy does pop the invisible boundary, but Fix still goes down.
FMCL with that hit and run, and you can even see how low he got in HP and was still able to get back. He knows his limits and won't overstay his welcome. Skittles doing a ton of healing right now on this rocket, going to be coming up soon onto the BRB. There's also a Karmic Revival on deck for Gen G should they need it. FMCL, again, getting the heals he needs right when he needs them, and then throwing that baton in, taking down Gact, and Bobo is there with the damage to take down Tashi as well. A nice little two-piece for Gen G. Bobo can't find another Elim, but it's going to be delivered right to him. Thank you so much, Zenstari. I was having a hard time, but in your jaws, it's just like shooting fish in a barrel. And FMCL is not done, goes in and gets 2 of his own, and 65% and counting. Gen G with a firm, ironclad grip on this point.
DXA wanted to extend that fight with that invisible boundary coming in from Rexy, but Fix going down just meant that there was no way for any other strategist ultimates to extend the fight on the side of DXA. Gen G can just do whatever they choose now, because right now with Salvation, with that Karmic Revival, things are going to get really hard as Zenstari goes in with the Rampage and Pars goes down.
But just so much AoE damage coming from those sparks, those explosions coming out, and with the Rampage now coming up from Zenstari, it's just disgusting. The last stand from Tashi is nothing but a fart in the wind as Gen G just rampage over DXA in the spawn room, and that's going to be, I mean, not a shutout because DXA did get the first cap, but just about as close as you can get under those circumstances. A dominant hold there from Gen G, and they carry over so many ultimates as we go on to the next one, Cradle, and this is the one that I was afraid of because Gen G, they're playing the dive variation of this Devil Dino comp just like I thought they would, and this is the map that favors it the most.
I mean, at this point, it feels like a shutout, right? I mean, DXA we're able to get 26%. But, yeah. Well, hello, Duep. Got a big brain of yours. Probably figured out the composition to break down DXA, but DXA are going to look for different alternatives. They're maybe look to do a more of a die composition themselves, put Nev on the Captain America, but instead of the Daredevil, maybe put Tashi on the Black Cat to try to change things up a little bit. And with Fix on the White Fox now, maybe this is the winning formula, but DXA, really, all they have is wait for Rexy to get that CYA so that Pars can pop his Final Judgment and try to outdamage everyone on Gen G. But then again, you gotta make sure you know where Salvation is, because if you don't know where this Adam Warlock is, that combo is gonna get immediately neutralized. And
you gotta track him down twice because he's gonna have that cocoon out the gate, so Tashi is gonna have to try and hunt him down. Hello, Rexy, didn't even see you there. One shot and Duep just takes him down, so you're not gonna be seeing that BRB or that CYA. Bobo is gonna be saying see ya to the entirety of DXA as he has found a two-piece, taking down Pars there with another swift shot, and Gen G going to stake their claim. No fanfare this time, just walk in, one punch, a couple of Cosmic Flames, get the job done.
Quick as you like it. Not even a single ultimate invested on the side of Gen G. DXA wanted to try to wait for Rexy to get the Cosmic Yarn Amplifier on, but Gen G just played way too fast. They know that this Rocket Raccoon ultimate might be up very, very soon. Duep has gotten backline access. So how much value does he get here?
Quite a fair bit. He's managed to check Tashi, so I don't have to worry about their backline. Gen G can still sit safe, still hiding Salvation. Golbon came out. FMCL taking down Nev, though. That CYA is going to now come out with that Final Judgment now. Shutting down the Unsung Inferno, keeping the CYA alive. There's going to be a couple of quick elims there for DXA, but they're going to be res back up. There's that Karmic Revival, but it's so far off the point. DXA are able to find the flip, but now it's back to a full 6v6, and FMCL is going to let the devil out, and Pars was not ready at all. Rexy going to be the next one to fall, and FMCL is just battering them with the billy clubs, one after the other. 12% is all DXA are going to get before the flip goes back the way of Gen G.
I mean, Gen G were okay with flipping the site over. DXA were able to get access, but that just allowed Salvation to get us really safe Karmic Revival off. No one on DXA was able to figure out where that resurrection was coming from. And with that, quick as you like it, DXA only get 12. Gen G will stay at 60 and climbing.
And it's Tashi's job to try and hunt down Salvation, but every time Duep checks him, it makes it so much more difficult for him to try and scout that out. You don't have to worry about the Karmic Revival for quite some time now, as it's going to be offline, but there is a CYA. It's going to come out to try and shut down that calling card, but Oh, Dwep is there for Rexy, taking him down, and another quick 1-2 punch with the shield there. Fix is going to be forced out of the Kumiho form, taken down there by Zenstari, and Bobo again checks Tashi, and at 81%, DXA are running out of time.
Is there going to be a portal now? We're going into Final Fight territory right now. 86 and climbing for Gen G. Gact is going to be the one to, at the very least, try to wave his fingers around, try to get a portal onto the site. He will be able to, but there is some resistance here. Zenstari's going to try to stop them, but he's going to get stomped down instead. Overtime does come up. Zenstari is able to come back with the BRB, but everyone on Gen G, they're just waiting for Zenstari to let the rampage out.
Yeah, but there's no ultimates for DXA, so they don't have a win condition here, and they have to worry about Zenstari. A good Elam there on the FMCL. The Devil Beast Rampage now coming out, stomping around, stunning everybody up, rocking those bleeds, taking down Fix, and no res is going to be coming out. Zenstari is just running a rampage right now, a triple, and that is the way you show what this hero is capable of. An emphatic map 1 win from Gen G. They're saying, hey, you know what? You turned a couple of heads in group stages, but we are still very much the kings of this domain.
I mean, throughout the entirety of preseason in OCE, Gen G only dropped 2 maps, and it was to the Chiefs in 2 separate series, so overall, this is what we expected coming in from Gen G. Overall dominance throughout the entire region, but it's only been map 1. We'll see if that carries over into map 2, but considering how dominant that was, I'm sure that momentum will carry on through.
Yeah, 12 final hits for Zenstari on the Devil Dino again, showing what this hero is capable of. But Bobo with a much-deserved MVP there, 14k damage, 9 final hits, and so much of that was just because DXA were trying to play that front-loaded damage variation, you know, kind of the more brawly, pokey version of the Dino composition, that they just never got access to Bobo, so he just built up all of those sparks one after the other, and DXA were popping like popcorn the whole time. So every time you see Dwep jump in and with one swift swing, just a haymaker, cleans Rexy's clock, that was because Bobo set that one up.
Because Gen G, yeah, they did run a more die-favored composition, but if they need to, they could easily reel back to a brawl-style composition. Bobo can just stay in the back line, landing them the sparks like you said. Salvation even there to help out with the damage as well. Facilitating Skittles and Salvation on the Rocket Raccoon and the Adam Warlock in a 2-strategist lineup, that's something we haven't seen often. We don't really see Adam Warlock being used in a 2-strap backline as often, but Bobo, considering that everyone on Gen G were just landing down the pressure, DXA could not apply the exact same amount, so that just made Bobo go absolutely ballistic in the backline, and that's probably the biggest reason why he didn't go down a single time in that entire map.
And speaking of going ballistic in the backline, that's exactly what the duo of Dwep and FMCL were doing. We didn't even talk about FMCL with 8 final hits, only 1 shy of Bobo there, and also a lion's share of the damage. And so much of that, like it's why I really like the Captain America version of this composition, where you have Devil Dino kind of playing this this anchor Vanguard composition, and then you have this 1-2 punch, you know, Dwep and FMCL going in and just manhunting for whoever they want. You know, they look for Rexy on the Rocket, they're able to take him down with ease, whether it's Fix on the White Fox or whatever other heroes he wants to play. He's got to play with his head on a swivel because there are 2 men, one of who can see through walls, that are very much so on the hunt. And I do want to give credit to Tashi for kind of scouting that out and trying to play their version of that with the Black Cat, but I kind of feel like Daredevil is still just a step ahead of Black Cat in this meta.
I mean, the most broken thing about Daredevil, I keep saying this time and time again, right? The most broken thing about Daredevil is the passive, the one that doesn't even do damage. Information is just so important in the world of Marvel
Black
Rivals.
Cat does that too, but she's got to pay for it. She's got to pony up the cash if she wants to see through walls.
You got a coin flip for it, literally.
It's going to be a coin flip to see if DXA are going to be able to get back in this one. Gen G take map 1 with ease. We got map number 2 on the other side of a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We are just getting started.
I mean, did that really count as a Gen G win if it was 6 minutes and 24 seconds? I mean, come on, Dad. That was the slowest Gen G map we've had so far.
Hey, at least they did it in dominant fashion, right? They had to sacrifice a little bit of that map space at times, but Gen G, they knew what to do. They knew what the task was ahead of them, and they did just that. DXA just could not match what Gen G were doing in terms of how well they were playing as a team and the amount of tools that they had at their disposal, because they did run dive, but they did have ways to reel back into brawl as well.
But Dr. CB, I gotta get the prognosis. For DXA, they didn't win map 1. They haven't won a map yet against Gen G at all this year. Did they look better against Gen G this time around than they did in preseason? Even if it's only been a map.
It's a little tough to say because they didn't really get a whole lot of percentage, but they also didn't get 100 to 0'd, and Pars does have the honor of getting first blood in all of Ignite Stage 1. So, you know, there's a couple of Pyrrhic victories there, you know, a couple of small wins you can hang your hat on here and there, but I still say that Gen G are just kind of rolling over everybody in this region, not named the Chiefs, and DXA, while they do seem to have a little bit of fight in them, it's not going to be enough to match up to Gen G on a map like Krakoa, like we said, that does tend to kind of lean itself towards some of these more dive-friendly compositions that Gen G have become known for. But as we say that, map number 2 is going to be Museum of Contemplation, which is a front-to-back city, baby.
Oh yeah, front to back. But, I mean, Devil Dinosaur existed for both of these teams, CB. I gotta know, like, are we going to see a ban this time around? I'm going to keep asking that a lot because Devil Dinosaur is a hot topic right now. But is he going to be banned out? And are we going to see Duet pull out shenanigans with Cap again?
I mean, I think that Devil Dino is once again going to be on the protect for both sides because he's just the new hotness right now. He's what everyone has been practicing and playing, and you're not going to show up to match day and just throw all your practice out the window and try something completely new. I know a couple of teams have been willing to give him up and experiment with it, but those teams from the scrims I've seen haven't been very successful. So you want the Devil Dino. You're not going to risk the gamut going through. I think, again, you know, we're going to see the same story, but you bring up the Captain America for Duet, and I think that might actually be a smart ban for the side of DXA, but then you start to ask a little bit more questions where it's like, okay, well, if Gen G still want to play this style but without the cap, there's also Venom.
It's also Museum of Contemplation, though. And
Yeah.
Dan, you and I, we covered the finals for preseason. We trauma bonded a lot watching these teams because almost every time a team would choose attacking side, I don't know yet which team is starting on the attack, but the team that always started off on the attack would just get spawn held to oblivion, and they never moved that convoy at all. So I don't know if that's going to happen to DXA again.
I've got some bad news. DXA is on the attack first, so...
No,
Yeah.
why, Dr. CP? Why would you tell us that?
Listen, I had the answers. I couldn't resist. It was too tantalizing. I had to spoil the fun.
Is it terminal?
I'm afraid it might be terminal for DXA.
Oh no. Dan, help us out here.
I mean, shout out to preseason Asia group stage for showing that Museum of Contemplation made us to forget what the rest of the map looked like. But now, maybe we'll see DXA break through. I'm a little curious to see how DXA are going to break through the spawn, because there were some teams back in preseason that had a little bit of that hard time trying to figure that out. But as we get into the ban draft again, so far, same old from what we just saw back on Krakoa. Devil Dinosaur are going to be secured by DXA this time, and Gen G will be the ones to take away the Luna Snow and get the Devil Dino.
And if DXA want to go for that Captain America ban that Keg kind of brought up there, it kind of begs the question, like, what do you have to let through in order to make that one happen? It's not going to be the Mantis, as they're still afraid of that damage boost. And again, like you were saying earlier, you know, a damage boost is a damage boost, right? Like, anything you can do to mitigate the dealing with a damage boost, you probably want to snuff that out before it gets started.
Yeah, exactly. And Gen G thinking about matching the Mantis ban, but DXA had to ban something else. It's going to be the Black Cat. They do deem that FMCO might be a little bit too threatening on that hero, so they're just going to take it away, as Gen G will go for that next best option. Maybe some would argue the better option.
I would say the better option, because we were just saying before the break, like one of the best things about Black Cat is the fact that she has that flame orb and she can see through walls, and Daredevil just does that for free all the time. So you have permanent infrared formation, you can always just ping your guy that you want to dive on top of, and if Dwep is on that Captain America, he can just go, all right, I'm in, let's go, 1-2 punch. Oh, we already got the Elim, we got the KO just that quick. We're gonna see the Phoenix ban coming up for DXA, and I do kind of like that because another big part of the problem was the fact that they couldn't get access to Bobo on that Phoenix, so a lot of that passive damage was being built up, and in fact, they're gonna make a one-sided Phoenix for their side, so most likely gonna see Pars picking up that one. We also see Pars hovering the Elsa Bloodstone, and on a map like this, Elsa could also be a good option, but Phoenix, you know, like we said, has kind of overtaken Elsa and Prio.
Yeah, on the Elsa Bloodstone has been taken down a notch, as we all know, back in Season 7.5. But DXA will finalize their ban draft, so will Gen G. DXA will get access, like you said, to that one-sided Phoenix. We'll see how they decide to pop off with that hero. Gen G, on the other hand, they're not going to have access to Bobo on the Phoenix this time around, looking to go towards the Adam Warlock, and Gen G on the defensive side are going to go towards that Loki Adam Warlock composition. We'll see if that'll work out this time around. I remember way back when, during the OCE preseason group stage, that Skittles said that they did mess up this composition a little bit on this exact map, funny enough. So we'll see if Gen G have locked things down and make sure that there are no bumps in the way of this spawn hold potentially coming in for Gen G. We'll see how well DXA are able to break through, because right now they're looking to get a little bit aggressive right out the get-go.
Yeah, Gen G looking to start stage 1 off on the right foot with a 2-0 victory over DXA. Museum of Contemplation is DXA has chosen Arena. And yeah, like you said, they're looking to try and take an aggressive stance here, showing a little bit of that dive composition, potentially with the Venom and Tashi on the Daredevil. But Gen G going a lot more front-loaded, and there's the big brains that has cooked up this composition. It's Dwep on the Emma Frost, and a nice little triple Vanguard lineup here with Emma, the Devil Dino, and the Groot. It's going to be real difficult for DXA to find a squishy to dive on top of. Nev is going to have to hunt one down, and Tashi is going to have to be there to try and make it happen, but if they get walled off, it might just be over. You can already see the walls coming out and a ton of pressure coming out onto Nev. He's forced back, and no one is going to want to get close to either Zenstarry or Dwep because they both have tools to be able to shut down dived heroes quite easily.
I mean, Dwep on the Emma Frost is the perfect option to respond into the Devil Dino of Gact, because we all know that Devil Dino has a hard time dealing with the Emma Frost, but at the very least, DXA are able to draw first blood. He's even able to kidnap from the likes of Zenstarry. Skittles even going down, so DXA will break through the spawn and move this convoy a little bit forward. FMCL is going to channel the portal really early to make sure that Gen G are still grouped together as a team.
Yeah, might as well. I mean, go for the early hold, though, but the bus is running away, and FMCL getting taken away from it by Gak there. Invisible Boundary now going to come out from Salvation, but they also stacked it with the regen domain, so a lot of resources being used, but they are able to convert it into an Elim onto Gak, potentially the highest value Elim you can hope for right now. Gen G going to find the flip and stop the cart from progressing any further, and DXA will take their leave.
Yep, and now DXA, they need to know that Bobo is going to get very, very close to that Karmic Revival. You don't even have to worry about Skittles as well, because he can easily just copy the Adam Warlock ultimate if he so chooses to, as DXA are trying to make something happen as Pars tries to take an off angle, but he gets taken down himself.
Was that a flanking Doctor Strange from FMCL? He only knows how to play the game one way. It doesn't matter if he's on a Shield Vanguard or a Daredevil, he is going to be going for the flanks. And Pars, you better watch your back, my friend. You are a squishy, and he's got you in his sights. And now Gak back on that Devil Dino, marching on forward, and Nev in the backline. Simbi got a Resilience forced out. Can't quite swing away, but we'll be able to wall run out back to safety. Speaking of out back, Bobo is going to be hanging out back, has the Karmic Revival, and doesn't... I mean, the Karmic Revival is the least of their worries. It's just letting the Cosmic Clusters rain down. He's going to go for that Revival now as he sees his teammates falling, get Skittles back into the fray, and meanwhile, the front line is just getting busy over here, taking DXA out one by one. Hand of Khonshu coming out now from Tashi, but that one's not going to be finding pay dirt anytime soon, and Gen G again with another fight win, holding on to that God of Mischief as well.
Yep, they are able to preserve Skittles' ultimate. DXA need to be careful again, because right now, if they use too many of those resources, Genji can just easily neutralize it with a good copy coming in from Skittles, but there is a world where Skittles looks for an aggressive form of copy, but FMCL looked for the Eye of Agamotto, didn't quite land the mark. Gak is gonna go in with the Rampage to try to give DXA some space to work with, and it's a clean double coming in from Nev. Skittles copied the invisible boundary, so there is no second chance for Genji. Everyone will fall, and with Genji not having access to the portal, they're gonna have to walk their way back onto the convoy. How long does it take for Genji to respond here? Because DXA look to have all the momentum here.
Yeah, I mean, Skittles went for the duplicate onto the Invisible Woman instead of trying to go for that second Karmic Revival. Tried to save FMCL, but it was too little too late. And then Nev with that piece of the Abyss just outside of it, finding 2 quick elims. FMCL now back on the Venom, but feeling the full force of Tashi's shotgun, just catching shells one after the other. Batsmobile inching closer towards that capture there. Invisible boundaries coming out from both sides. Pars trying to get the damage stacking up, takes down Zenstari, and it's going to be so difficult for Genji to be able to go for a recontest here with all this damage coming out, but FMCL still has yet to be dealt with. Final Judgment now coming out from Bobo, and you can see DXA clearing the path, not giving anything up for free, but Gak just feeling the full weight of Bobo's Final Judgment, and he is not done. Got a couple more in the tank for Nev as well. Tashi is going to fall, and DXA are running out of bodies to contest this one. Genji draw a line in the sand and do not let DXA have that point A capture.
I think Tashi in that final fight got caught out by the Emma Frost wall with the Luna team up. I think that's what happened, and that's the reason why FMCL was able to take down the Punisher in time. Although Tashi did come back thanks to the BRB, he did go down the second time because of that Final Judgment on the side of Bobo, and that's what went down there, because Genji are just looking to facilitate their composition to their maximum potential. Not like a freaking Emma Frost wall of all things was the reason why Tashi went down. Like that doesn't happen very often here.
And Genji are showing like a good read on the meta overall, because they're playing both variations of it quite well, whether it is that kind of front-to-back, more front-loaded version, you know, with a triple Vanguard lineup, which we don't see too often, but it does come out every now and then, and ends up working out quite well for Genji on the defensive side. And then we've also seen the dive variation of it, which FMCL hovering over that Daredevil might be going for, or he can even just play it in a brawl form. Doesn't seem to matter. When you're this damn good, you can play whatever you want.
And Genji are looking to go in swinging. DXA looking to do the same that Genji did on the defensive side. It looks like Bobo and Zenstari are going to try to use the team up between the Dino and the Pun.
Are tired. He wants a piggyback ride.
He wants uppies. That's all he wants.
He wants uppies, and with the team up, he can get it, but he's going to swap over actually onto the Moon Knight, and up against Fix on the Loki. I mean, you're going to see Bobo's ult charge just ratchet up, already at 30%, and should have a hand of Khonshu before you can even spell the word.
Yep, but Genji, this is they know their game plan. They have to go really fast before DXA even have access to that Karmic Revival, and they're doing just that. FMCL taking down Tashi very early, forces out the cocoon, but does Tashi invest? He has to make sure that the team stays 6-man strong. Gak coming back with the BRB, but Genji have all the space, and Nev will be the first elimination that will stay eliminated.
And it's looking like Genji might be able to close this one out ultless, because sure, you got that cocoon off, but you had to give up Gak in order to do it. You don't really have a good way to stop the momentum of Genji coming through here. Skittles with a nice little charm onto Pars, and as charming as ever, Genji will emphatically take this 2-0 victory over DXA.
Because you like it. Genji show their dominance, has not stopped since preseason, and are looking to maybe try for another flawless run. It did get spoiled by the Chiefs back in preseason, but now they're looking to do the exact same. Salvation this time getting the MVP on the Museum of Contemplation, but you gotta give the MVP to the entire team of Genji, because they were all playing like a well-oiled machine.
I feel like, you know, White Fox just kind of gets MVPs. It's just kind of like what she does, just farms them up for seemingly for nothing. But hey, Salvation was getting pretty active there with a high damage count and keeping up with the healing as well, while Skittles was making the most of that Luna Snow pick, or on the Loki as well. A lot of different looks coming out from this Genji team, and it feels like they're just kind of flexing all of the different things in their tool bag, you know? Like, they can play the dive, they can play the front to back, they can play the triple Vanguard, they can play the double res comp, they can they can make it look good. A couple of bumps in the road there, maybe gave up more progress on that cart than you would like to see, but still pretty much full holding DXA, not letting them get that point A cap and then just running it down on the offense and never punished.
I mean, the biggest concern when you're running a triple-triple style composition is the damage, right? The main goal of triple-triple is to just burn down as much of that clock as possible. Maybe you get a few eliminations here and there. That's really just like a consolation prize back then. But now, with Devil Dino being in the mix, you still have a lot of damage to work with. I mean, you could call back in preseason, some teams were even running triple-triple with the Deadpool, and that gave them enough damage. Maybe even the Rogue if you were able to get access to it, but right now, Gen.G had a lot of that damage still with the Dino, with the Adam Warlock, so they still were able to facilitate it to absolute perfection. And hello, Keg, how do you feel about that one? It wasn't as fast as 448, but it was
not
still
quite
a
the speed run.
It was 515.
Oh, okay, not quite the speed run. Again, like both of Gen.G's matches, you add them together, it's still, well, no, I guess it was 6 minutes. It would be a little over 10 minutes. Sure, 1 minute over. Gen.G, I'm disappointed in you. But I want to focus on Gen.G's overall hero pick. CB, we saw, like you mentioned, the entire arsenal come out from their team where they were slippery, they were malleable. You can't really pinpoint one static way that Gen.G likes to play a matchup.
I mean, they still kind of show that dive, that kind of like affiliation for dive that they try to go for, that they've become known for, especially with FMCL on the Daredevil and occasionally with Duep on that Captain America, but they're showing that they are capable of going deeper than just that. They do understand the meta and the different ways to play these double dino compositions. They're not married entirely just to that dive, and if you're going up against a more fearsome foe, someone like perhaps the Chiefs, or maybe if we get way ahead of ourselves here with some of these other Asian teams, or even way ahead of ourselves, some of these teams on an international land stage, potentially on this same, I think we're going to be a couple patches deep, so it won't matter at that point, but nevertheless, my point still stands that if they're up against a more fearsome foe and they have to dig deeper, their bag does go indeed much deeper.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we've only been scraping the surface for Gen.G's side, but we got to give our laurels to DXA too, because they didn't have the best go around the first time they faced Gen.G, way back, also on the very first play day, back in preseason, Dan. But, I mean, at least this time around, it felt like there was a genuine challenge for Gen.G to get some of these objectives.
I mean, DXA definitely did put up a good fight, especially in map number 2. They were able to get a little bit of that momentum, but unfortunately, they just could not play fast enough as the rest of Gen.G were able to get their resources ready to go, most notably the Karmic Revival, and that's really where the positives end on the side of DXA in that map. But either way, we do have an interview ready on Gen.G.
Who do we have on the line?
Hello.
Oh, hello, FMCL. How are you, my friend?
Great. Doing great.
So, first day of the season, first day of Ignite for Stage 1 in all of 2026. To you, it must just feel like another day at the office. I mean, it was a quick matchup. We checked the timer in game. It's about 11 minutes in total. Just talk to us about what the prep work looked like for Gen.G from the end of preseason to now. Like, what were the big focuses that your team is focusing on?
Well, first we focused a lot on learning like Black Cat and how to play around it. I'd say like we're one of the best teams at Black Cat probably in the world at this point. And then after that I was focusing on the Dino as he came out, because we like started in the Cat season and then we kept on going to the Dino when Dino was released in season 8, I think. And we just kept on practicing, trying different bands, just keeping going on like what we usually do, just playing the game. Hopefully we just win. I don't know.
So let me ask you a little bit about like the Black Cat and the Daredevil. I guess I have two questions. First of all, which one do you think is better in the current meta? And the second question is also going to be like, with this Dino meta, how do you as a dive specialist try to navigate, not getting caught in the Dino's jaws?
Same level of like character. They're both like really good at what they do. They're sometimes better at different points. Overall, Black Cat probably is better, but DD definitely has a lot of comps where he kind of just works better. He's better at marking stuff like that. And then how I play against the dinosaur is I kind of just like don't appear on his screen. That's what I try and do. Because if I appear on his screen, he just walks
Yeah,
at me.
that'll work.
I can't damage him. He grabs me. I'm insta dead. It's not fun.
Yeah.
I guess for me, right, you got to look a little bit into that future, right? You just got to win against DXA. Now you're looking farther into the OCE bracket. Is there a team that you think might put up a chance against you guys? Because right now, I mean, you guys are looking as dominant as ever, same as preseason. Are there any teams that you think might be maybe at the level that you guys are at?
I'd say like same as last time, the Chiefs might be able to put up a fight, but from hearing a couple of rumors, maybe they won't. Maybe we'll just dominate.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
wait. Let's expand the horizons then. So if not in OCE, what about in Asia or potentially the entire international stage? Are there any other teams that you think you're a good match for?
In Asia, I think we'd have a good match with Z10 and Reject. Obviously, would win because we're good. But
Of course.
in the world, like I'm looking at like Navi, Team Heretics, Rad, VP from EU, and then NA. There's a whole lot of teams. Sentinels, Team Liquid Citadel is very scary, and like FlyQuest, a bunch of teams. But yeah, I think there's quite a good
I like how you just
few
named
matches.
like all the top teams in the world.
Yeah, well, just name every team in the game. That's fine. So this interview is running a little long, but I have one last question for you, FMCL, and this is a little introspective. So your team has been dominant so far. We're not sure when we're going to get the interview you next, so I think it's important to kind of pry open the brain a little bit here. Your team feels invincible when we watch them play. Like, there's no discernible weakness. There's not really like a counterplay option that teams have been able to figure out. In your opinion, what is the key to success? How can teams be like Genji in FMCL?
I'd say it's like things like comms, but also you just need to like be born goated. You know what I mean? Like it's all just natural talent
Yeah.
when it comes to it.
Gotta have the sauce. You gotta have the dog in you.
Yeah.
Well,
Beast.
FMCL, I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for joining us here today. A pleasure as always to watch you, and I'm sure this won't be the last time we interview you.
Hope I see you again.